we can help you make up yours. Check on BBC Weather.
Welcome back to the programme. Parts of Asia are experiencing a scorching heat wave, with schools closed and dangerous temperatures for people and their livelihoods. Thailand's heat index, which measures the actual temperature once humidity is taken into account, climbed to 52 degrees Celsius on Tuesday. Soaring heat and drought have been felt in recent weeks from India, with temperatures rising to around 45 degrees all the way to Vietnam. The national forecaster in Bangladesh announced that the April temperatures across the country have been the hottest since records began, temperatures reaching a record high of 42 degrees. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, the capital Manila beat its previous record this week with temperatures above 38 degrees. President Marcos said that high demands for cooling systems is putting pressure on the national electricity grid. The heat has led to school closures across Southeast Asia, but it's also causing problems for agriculture. Crops belonging to farmers in the Philippines are becoming unusable. Here's what one farmer told us about the situation.
It's very difficult. You won't be able to plant in this heat. You'd just be wasting money. You could keep on watering plants, but they still wouldn't grow. Look at the soil. It's all cracked.
Well, the regional climate scientist at Climate Analytics, Dr Fahad Saeed, joins us now. Thanks for coming on the programme. These high temperatures aren't expected, but at this level, they are. At this time of year, you would expect something, but what is causing them to be this high?
Thank you very much for having me. So, as per Indian Meteorological Department projections for this season, it was expected to have above average temperature over the region. But what we have witnessed is going beyond what was expected or what was predicted by Indian Meteorological Department. So right now, scientists say that we are having a El Nino event which is going on. Plus we have other systems such as Indian Ocean Dipole, which is happening in tandem with the El Nino. But on the background of it, there's this global warming. So the temperature, so these are the part of the Earth system for forever. We witnessed El Nino, we witnessed Indian Ocean Dipole. But because of the background global warming, all these estimates are going beyond the expectation or predictions for that matter. So that's why normally what used to happen that we have episodes of extreme temperature, heat waves, and in between we have spells of rain. But what is happening right now, it is continuous, continuous spell of a heat wave. And that's why the temperature in parts of the South Asia and Southeast Asia are just breaking the records.
So if these countries are missing their rain breaks because of the combination of El Nino and global warming, many will just want to know how long is this going to go on for, do you think?
According to the prediction by meteorological department of the countries, it still has to hit the high, but there's going to be a spike in a few days. So there's some system developing, which are bringing perhaps rainfall or at least cooler conditions or the cooler winds towards the land. But at the moment, this heat spell is going to go for a couple of days at least.
So you're saying there's going to be a spike, so things are actually going to get hotter still?
Yes, that's likely that the temperature will get hotter, but that will be a matter of few days. But then, according to the prediction, there will be a rainfall.
What are governments doing about this in the short term to relieve, the anxieties and the troubles that people are facing, but also to tackle climate change in the region?
Yes, so the government are taking measures. So let me tell you that we always talk about climate injustice. So it is climate injustice across the world, but it is climate injustice within the boundaries as well. So in your intro video, and you also mentioned that it is the poorest of the poor, the farmers or the people who are vulnerable, who are poor, who do not have the access to electricity, they are gonna hit the worst because of such calamities. So that is the world we are living in, where the poor, who has contributed least to the effect of climate change, is suffering at the moment. So the government is taking measures. So, for example, the advisories are there, and India specifically is leading in terms of adaptation in this part of the world, in terms of heat plans and coming up with nature-based solutions. So these are they are in place. But let me tell you that the climate change is just going, to a level where it is testing the limits of adaptation. So you have mentioned about humidity. So it's a combination of heat and humidity, which we call as wet bulb. So at some stage, the human body or the body of every mammal cannot sustain a heat. When there's a combination of heat and humidity up to certain temperature, it can resist. But beyond that, in the absence of artificial cooling, you cannot sustain the life because in a few hour times, you're going to get the heat stroke. So what is happening that, as you said, that the transmission system of electricity, they are also are impacted because of this heat wave. And in the absence of artificial cooling, it is very likely that the people would suffer.
Right.
And that is exactly what we are witnessing at the moment.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for spelling that out so clearly, Dr. Fahad Saeed, and thanks for joining us. World Press Freedom Day highlights the importance of a free press and the protection of journalists globally. It also pays tribute to all the journalists who have lost their lives, and nowhere worse than Gaza, where at least 103 journalists are reported to have been killed by Israeli strikes in the past 5 months.